green light, or should I say red light, as in red light district, as in we watched All Girl of Cthulhu. We're at the movies this week. I'm your host, Mo, here with my partner, Lo, in our independent features season. We are just blowing through. It feels like it's been no time at all, and we're approaching kind of the end of the. We've got like maybe four more episodes.
5, I think. Isn't this the 5th one? This was 6.
I think this is 6. I just held up a Blu-ray DVD copy courtesy of Camp Motion Pictures. Can't recommend it more. Go pick it up if you enjoy the film or if you're curious. I think it was relatively cheap. But this is another film after. This is actually the film after WNUF Halloween Special made by director Chris LaMartina. We enjoyed WNUF Halloween Special. Our listeners have enjoyed that episode. One of our one of our most listened to episodes, which is very cool.
Which is nice because
Thank
I
you.
really enjoyed that. So I'm glad that our viewers like it. And also, too, you can't forget, written by none other than Jimmy George.
Absolutely.
Well.
What a team. And there is a more recent film titled What You See Next Will Scare You. We double check here. Brain's still booting up. What happens next will scare you. That one we would have watched, but it is still in post. But I believe that if you are interested and you like these films, I think that Kickstarter is still up and you can still get a DVD of that if you'd like to. You can definitely also go donate to the WNUF Halloween Special 2 GoFundMe.
Please go if you have extra money and you're able to support these independent films. Please. We need more people to support these films because these are the kind of films that are going to carry film making into the future of where we're going. So please, if you can, support your local film makers.
Yeah, we talked about this as we were watching the film, which we watched together because you were at my house to film.
Mm-hmm.
And we agreed. Don't know that this is necessarily both of our favorite of the season, but in terms of independent filmmaking, we talked about Blue Ruin and how there's a difference between a movie with, $1 million budget and a movie with a $5,000 budget. And I really think, one of the most interesting aspects of this movie that we talked about right away, I've always noticed this, and I never knew how to put it into words, but you did perfectly. You said there's like something about some of these independent movies that just don't look exactly like a movie does.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know what that is either. We talked about, is it the, color grading? Is it something that has to do with post? Is it the tech they're using? And I don't really know. But what I will say is, as this film went on, I noticed that less because the story was good, the characters were fleshed out, and the movie was paced well. Things happen. It wasn't boring or anything. So I with a good story, you can go pretty far.
Yeah, the story definitely carried. I noticed, it's definitely something that, and this is in the words of you, that some of the faults of independent films, or like when you have a budget, if you have a good story, they're masked like perfectly, and this is the case for this film. That was something that I mentioned offhandedly to you. I said, you know what? Sometimes like an independent film, and even this is like, because we were talking about our films and stuff, we're like, they just don't look like a film, and I think that's because we're so used to, as viewers, going and seeing this like specific color grading with films where it looks real, but like you still seem like you're not in, like you're in a different place, where this one felt like you were there, like with them. Like that looked like real. So
it's kind of like, movies that you're so used to seeing things that are polished, that a lot of movies, it goes both ways. They can almost skirt away with having story issues because you're like, oh, but this is a real movie, like, look.
Mm-hmm.
And whereas a movie like this, almost charming because it has to succeed on other levels in order to kind of prove itself as a film. but I think we agree on this. Succeeds. I really, really enjoy this movie.
Yeah, I definitely agree with you. I'm still thinking now with I don't really think that we can compare this to Blue and Ruin. You can, but they had a lot more to work with than this team. So I think with that being said, I am going to give this one my top spot for now. I mean, this is number 6. We got 4 more for the rest of the season, but this is definitely going to get my top spot for this season so far. But that might change. It just you can't fault this movie. I mean, it was funny at times. The characters were unbelievable. The story was fun. So it's like kind of like the same thing I said with WNUF. You end up feeling good afterwards, which is great.
It's very cool to see this team because there are some returning players as well, some returning actors and actresses. Particularly Nicolette LaFay shows back up as Erica Zahn in this. She played Veronica in WNUF Halloween Special, and there are a few others. There are some cameos, but it's so cool to see them go from WNUF, which felt like a masterwork for its limitations, for a movie that was made for $1,000, that explicitly looks like a VHS tape in order to make its world more real. And that's such a smart move. It was so cool to see them tackle like a traditional narrative. And as Joe Bob Briggs would say, this here's your classic story of a virgin who hires a call girl with a mark of Cthulhu on her bottom, that both a cult that is out to trigger the apocalypse, as well as a group of, I guess I'm going to call them witches or something, warrior women that are trying to stop it from happening. So everyone is after this call girl, including our main character, Carter, who is just a sweet boy looking to find love, and he's gotten wrapped up with the unfortunate call girl of Cthulhu. It's funny. There are references to Lovecraft stuff in it. I feel like there's not. I don't know that there's like a ton of really major like H.P. Lovecraft adaptations out there. So like to see an independent movie try to tackle it is pretty interesting, and to see them spin it with some comedy is a lot of fun. So you both like the story of this movie, obviously. I also really love the practical effects in this. It feels like everything about this movie is charmingly local. I don't know if that's the right word. Charming. It's independent aspects are almost its most charming. The music isn't, it feels like music that was made for the movie. It feels like music that was maybe even sourced from like local bands or something. The practical effects are fun and not like in a distracting way. They are definitely low budget, but it's kind of watch it and it doesn't take you out of it. It makes you just think like, oh, like I bet they had so much fun coming up with the effects for this, you know?
I have to say one thing on the effects. They're almost better than some films with a higher budget. Like these practical effects were well done. Like especially the tentacles, those were very realistic. I don't know how they went about doing it with the movement and everything, but kudos to them, because that's one thing that, and obviously this is probably where I would say probably like 80% of the budget went to, is making sure these effects actually like were good. But yeah, no, that's one of my favorite parts of this film.
So you're saying that I just got to be clear because you did say that they looked very realistic. So you've dealt with Cthulhu before?
Yeah, I've seen them firsthand. They were almost, if you actually from my memory, I couldn't honestly tell the difference. They were spot on, the tentacles and everything.
Interesting. How is he as just like a guy? Like, is he like is he fun to hang out with? Is he difficult to work with? Well, how would you describe him?
So like Cthulhu's kind of a dick. I mean, he's conquer a world.
Ego.
So yeah, it's like it's kind of big. I would say now though he's had time to grow. So now in the year 2021, he's kind of eased back a little bit. He's kind of getting more progressive with his kind of world destroying. So he's kind of looking at more of like how it affects the people of the planets. So he's doing a really good job.
Right. His Twitter apology really did go a long way. It
Yeah.
seems like his Twitter apology really carried him.
That was me. I actually wrote that for him.
Oh wow!
Yeah.
So you've been moonlighting as Cthulhu's like publicist manager.
Yeah, it's pretty much. I mean, we did have a team of 10 people, but obviously, you know, he gets really upset, so he killed 9 of them, and I was just the one that was left, and he realized like, hey, he's all I got.
Wow. Are you ever worried that he's gonna like kill you too?
No, we got a pretty good deal.
Okay. All right. Well, I'm happy for you, but I'm happy for your job prospects.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. They have fun with the effects too. It's not because it's a comedy horror film. There is quite a bit of nudity in this film, and I would say almost a masterclass in terms of writing nudity in that is legitimately a part of the story because it is obviously based on you know, this escort group, and you've got these people that are searching for this birthmark that is located on her ass. So there is a good amount of nudity, but it also leads to some amazing like effects moments. The porn actress that comes out of his computer with angry monster
that was
nipples,
so weird. The monster nipple scene was so weird. So weird.
That was very cool. Penis monster was amazing.
Oh, I forgot
Rick
about
the
penis monster. Yeah.
Rick the Dick, very funny. This character that is like it's like a hung guy, I guess, that is like kind of an asshole, but he has some kind of curse put on him, and his penis becomes this monster. Good stuff all around. Good stuff all around. Even the acting, I feel like, is again one of those things where it's like maybe there are some parts that you can see through the woodwork a little bit, but it almost works.
Of course.
Almost works to the movie's charm. Genuinely, these are these movies that I love that feel like it feels like a group of friends getting together to make something. And the fact that they chose to make something so weird together, the fact that you could make a script like this and get local community actors to be like, yeah, I'll be in your weird Cthulhu comedy horror film. I mean, that rules, you know?
I brought it up to you when we were watching this. I said, it kind of feels like they went to their local strip club and was like, hey, does anybody want to be in a movie? And the girls were like, hell yeah, we do. Like with how much nudity was in there. Right. I was like, damn, that's a lot.
Yeah, for sure. It was there was a few things about this that I didn't remember that we went upon rewatch, but it does get a little bit. Also, sorry, one more thing about the effects. The cult members, the Cthulhu worshippers with the tentacle mouths that are made from like maybe like fabric shreds or something. Very intuitive use, I would say, of material to come up with like a design, like a costume design. But yeah. I had something else I was gonna say. Sorry, you might have to cut this. It does get, I think, the only knock against it, I would say, is that there are some moments where it gets maybe a little bit convoluted, where you don't quite know who these people are that are trying to stop the apocalypse. Like that one maybe just, and this is like the most minor complaint because the movie is a joy to watch, really, and like this is like nothing that during watching is going to ruin it for you, but in retrospect it is maybe just you're kind of like trying to figure out, okay, so like what's the motivation here? Obviously it's the world not ending, but it's like, who are these people, where did they come from? Kind of just a weird part of that world. But you also have eyes in gas masks, like neon gas masks with
pacifiers,
dreads. Yeah, pacifiers getting their heads exploded by experimental music. That's very funny. The music, the fact that his roommate's music is so unlistenable that it is the only thing that will, destroy the Cthulhu soldiers.
Yeah, I do. I guess like a couple of questions are the difference. Like, so there was the mob or the people that kind of like were infected. or kind of brainwashed, and then there was like the lackeys, which were like his bodyguards, and then there was the Cthulhu, like squid people.
Yeah.
So I didn't really understand like why are they different? Like how did they
They don't all really serve a purpose.
Yeah, I was just
They're
like
kind
I
of
was like
just
who
there.
I was like why is like one group this brainwashed mob? Why is one group like metal
Yeah.
babies and like the other one is just squid people? I was like who are they and why are they here? That's my only thing that I wish I knew more about.
Maybe who knows? Maybe someday, in the spirit of WNUF 2, maybe we can get a Call Girl of Cthulhu 2. That'll go John Wick 2. Just totally focus on those Cthulhu lackeys and give us their story. Let us know what's going on there. I'm just doing a quick search to see if this is streaming anywhere, or if it's even available for rent anywhere. Because this was one that we watched on Blu-ray. I'm sure that you can find somebody's got it online, but it does look like you can rent this on Amazon for $2.99, or purchase it for $8.99 if you want a digital copy. Again, I think that I got this Blu-ray DVD for probably under $15, 10 to $15. Um, I don't think that you'll regret it, especially if you're a WNUF Halloween fan. If you haven't seen this, you don't need to rent it. Just go out and get a copy. It's definitely worth your time. You're gonna have a good time. It's genuinely funny, and I think I don't know how you feel about this. I don't know if we've even really talked about this. I love horror comedy. I love like the melding of two genres that I grew up on and love and enjoy. I'm a big horror head, but I think growing up I was way more of a comedy person. And now these days, you and I are writing sketches, and we're trying to come up with original ideas for films and different things. And it's hard writing comedy. Like being naturally funny or charismatic is one thing. Writing jokes is difficult, and we've run into that firsthand writing sketches. And I think that to be able to pull off a horror comedy, a movie that makes you laugh but also has these supernatural or out there elements, it really is like a feat. It's a feat. It's a weird
Yeah.
enough thing, again, to even get people on board with you, to write something this unique, to present it to people without worrying about them being like, oh, there's sure is a lot of nudity in this or something. To get people on board with you, that's a talent in itself.
Yeah,
And
I think this might be a hot take, but I think it's harder to write comedy when in the realm of because like A of what you said and B you're never quite sure on how your actors are going to deliver what you thought was funny. Just because you think something's funny and you may deliver it away doesn't necessarily mean that's always going to translate when it comes time for the performance. So as a writer, like that's got to be hard to like figure out like okay, well I think that this bit lands, but then as they're acting it, you're like, those two characters don't really have that up relationship, so this line doesn't make sense. It's almost cringy. So
that's where directing comes in, and that's where this movie excels where other movies wouldn't. I think is that the actors do land the lines, the jokes land. Um, Honestly, just a joy to watch. I off the top of my head, this might be in my top spot as well. I don't know that it's the best movie we've watched all season, but I do think it's probably the most fun that I've had all season, and that goes a long way for me. So I think if you're looking for an independent film to watch, something, if I was going to boil it down, I'll put it this way: if I was going to boil this down for someone that wanted to watch one independent film, would prove to them that it is possible to make a good story and a good film with a low budget. I think this is the movie that does the trick.
yeah, I kind of wish like not wish because I know there's tons and as like time goes on there's gonna be more and more, especially when we start being able to really get our stuff out there more. I really hope people don't shy away from making your own film. And that's one thing that we're trying to do is prove it's not really prove because it's been proven, but we're trying to show too to maybe like the kind of area that we're in that it is possible to make films and to produce your own content, not in Hollywood or New York City or these like big filming destinations, or what you thought of maybe like Hollywood versus old Hollywood, stuff like that. And I hope that movies like this movie really inspire not only like our generation, but the generation that comes after us to really like be like, oh, I can do this with a couple of friends and maybe even an iPhone now, to really like go out and get it. Like, don't ever feel like you can't make a movie. And hey, it might freaking suck, but that's okay. You'll learn for your second one. So
A huge discussion that we've had with, I mean, putting our first stuff online, you know, and the amount that we've grown, is just this idea that if you don't start, you can't get better. So you kind of do have to be prepared to fail, but you will fail up, because you will figure out pretty quickly what works writing wise, what doesn't, what works camera wise, what doesn't. So yeah, please watch stuff like that. I mean, like, I don't want to beg people to watch our stuff, but it is kind of this thing of like, this reminds me of what we're trying to do. Watch something like this because it was made in Maryland. Watch something that we make, hopefully in the future, because it was made in Erie or Pittsburgh. You know, you don't have to be in one of these landmark cities to make a film.
you know, and shout out to people chasing the dream out there, but it's just, you know, it's not for the majority of us that want to follow this dream, you know.
Sure. Yep. Two different ways to go about it. But all that being said, Chris LaMartina and Jimmy George and the rest of their team, the rest of their crew, common actors coming back. You guys are crushing it. You make movies that I hope to make a movie someday that is half as good as WNUF Halloween Special, half as fun or welcoming or charming. So thank you for making these. Great work. Continue that work. For people out there, WNUF Halloween Special is now streaming on Shudder. Call Girl of Cthulhu is available for rent on Amazon for $2.99. And like I said, I believe the Kickstarter for What Happens Next Will Scare You is still up if you'd like to get a DVD copy of that. I saw it. It's a great film. It's in the spirit of WNUF. Definitely donate there, and donate to the WNUF Halloween Special to GoFundMe. And if you have any money left over after you're spending it on those LaMartina projects, come over to our Patreon. Join our current patrons. Jimmy, you got those names handy?
Jay Irvin and Dylan Painter. We love you.
Thank you guys so much. We really appreciate it. And if you want to join them, less than a cup of coffee a month, you get exclusive access to our Discord, where we watch these movies every week. 2 watch parties a week. We sync up. You can watch the movies with us. We can talk about them in real time. We would love to have some more company in there, and we hope that you've been enjoying the season so far as much as we have been. Certainly a unique one. And all right, we got a movie that I don't know anything about.
Okay.
I picked it based on its I was looking up best independent features of the past 10 years, and I don't even remember what the premise was when I picked it, but the film is called Butter on the Latch. It is a 2013 experimental psychological thriller and drama, written and directed by Josephine Decker. It tells the story of Sarah and Isolde attending a Balkan music camp, the eroding friendship between them, and the budding romance between Sarah and a male camper. So, this is... Sorry, guys. Flying by the seat of my pants here.
I got it. You can watch it on Amazon Prime and Apple TV for $3.99. Those are the only 2 places that you would be able to watch this film.
Thank you. And I have not seen a trailer. I have not seen anything about this. So I'm actually very curious and excited to see what we're getting ourselves into. I think I'm going to go into this one totally blind. I don't think I'm going to watch any trailer or anything. I'm just going to go into it. So that'll be next week's episode. Until then, if you're enjoying the show, let us know. Let us know what you'd like to see on the show. We'll probably go back to directors for a season, and then go back to doing maybe a unique one-off season, and kind of oscillating between the two. So if there's a certain movie or director you want to see covered, please let us know. Otherwise, that about does it for me. Definitely go see Call Girl of Cthulhu.
Yeah, that's all I have. Excellent movie once again from Chris and Jimmy. So Thank you so much for making these films that I have learned to love from Aaron. So thank you.
I just realized I do think that it is a little bit of a conflict of interest that we gave this such a positive review when you know Cthulhu.
Hey,
I mean, you're his publicist.
yep,
That's like a big. I think we might just have to scrap this whole thing.
we might, but he also said if we don't put this out, he's going to kill you and smash your house. So,
oh, what do I do? What do I do? What do I do? Decisions. Well, I guess you guys will know what happened.
He's right behind you.
Whether this comes.
He's coming through your fireplace.
And scene. Let's go ahead and get Film Core to put in some tentacles there, and we'll pull me through the fireplace. It's a wrap.
Should be easy. All right, everybody. You have a great
Thank you guys. Thank you for watching At the Movies. We'll see you next week.